So that's your job. And your job is to be willing to die. You're a soldier, man. You're so on the front line. You've gone too far to turn back. If you went and hid in a basement for 6 weeks, people all over the world would think the government had killed you. So you have to understand your obligation, what the universe gave you. And so just want you to know. Man, I looked at that smile on your face just now. And the first time I ever wished I was a photographer to take that picture and let the world see that honesty and that integrity. And know some of the things I know, how you'll drive all over the country to chase us down.
It's like I'm stalking though.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Chase us down. Okay?
I do feel like I have an obligation for people. I mean, it's bigger than me.
Yeah. But no, being business, you can't see it. It was business to Trump. He saw nothing.
All right.
Okay? I just saw it, that smile. Okay. And so again, I just say, man, I thank you. I look at Kathy Hughes, what she's able to do with that show. I look at Carl Nelson, the Joe Madisons. You know, some can go further than others, because some got leeway. But I just say, man, to sit here, my birthday, it's a weekend. Thank you for contributing to my birthday. You know, all I say is thank you. We move so fast. I don't know if you're married, I don't know if you're a family, I don't know if you're a wife. But when we get on here, we bosom friends. Anytime I see you, I stop whatever I'm doing. Hey, my man, how are you? Hey. Hey, man, what, you know? I owe that to you. Because together, we can beat this thug. Because it's the universal God. And so again, I just say thank you. Thank you for running me down, man. So again, but that's the obligation that you have. How old are you?
Oh, 36.
So you don't have the right to do what 36 people do. You don't have the right to go to the dance or go to the party. You don't have a right to take that trip to Europe when I might need that plane fare to fly somebody else to feed my people that love me. You feed them. Oh, it's one thing being hungry from food. Right. There's another thing being hungry for information.
That's right.
And that's you the feeder. You got to be the farmer. You got to grow the crop. You got to till the grain. And at nighttime, when you hear something that sounds like water, you got to go see if the crop's going to be flooded. That's your job, man.
That's right.
And then you got to deal with people that think you're crazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, that's their way out. I'm embarrassed that you told me this, and I didn't know it, so I think you're crazy. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba Gregory. And the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, hello, everybody. Guess who's back? Back again. Brother Ron. Tell a friend. Guess who's back and still black? Guess who's back and is right on track? We're right on time, people. Peoples, we right on time. Bling, 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 man. It's Brother Ron's We All Be News Free Dixie. For the 21st century, yes, indeed, somewhere over the rainbow. And speaking of rainbows, we're going to talk about Barack Hussein Obama. Thank you, Brother Brian. Somewhere. We're going to talk about Barack and his crew. Will Smith had to do the red table humiliation ritual for his wifey's podcast. We got Barack Hussein Obama, the man who be rocking the mom jeans. He's doing his humiliation ritual. I think people are, waking up. They are coming out of they stopped drinking the Obama Kool-Aid. But I would say this. Let me say this. Let's just dive into this. Barack Obama, hit the black community harder than crack, like Dr. Umar Johnson would say. He hit the black community harder than crack. He hit the black community harder than crack. I mean, you still got a lot of us can't put that Obama pipe down at this moment, even though he's revealed himself for who he really is. There was a documentary that came out some years ago on Alex Jones called The Obama Deception. And I think Karis One was in the documentary. It's been a minute since I've seen that documentary. I hope y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Don't fear me, but hear me. Can you feel me? Karis One, one of the architects of hip hop rap god, he compared Obama in The Obama Deception, I believe. I believe it was The Obama Deception, the documentary by Alex Jones, as being the face of the franchise, as being like the manager at Burger King or something like that. He's the front person. He don't really own the franchise. He don't really run anything. He's just the face of empire. He's the pretty face of empire. Think about the stuff he was able to do. For example, I will never forget Omar Gaddafi, the visionary from Libya, the brother who believed in the brothers, the one who wanted to empower Africa with their own currency, who wanted to bring Africa into the 21st century, internet and all that other stuff. The man who was willing to give Minister Louis Farrakhan $1 billion. And Bill Clinton said, hell no, we can't give him no $1 billion. You can't give him nothing but fried chicken and pork chops. No $1 billion. Y'all black president. See how messed up people are? The Clinton administration, they blocked Omar Gaddafi, from my understanding, of giving Minister Farrakhan $1 billion for black people. And Gaddafi thought that Obama was a friend. Just like Hugo Chavez thought that Obama was a friend. There's pictures of, Hugo and I think Muammar Gaddafi, I believe that's the name, Laffy Taffy, Lottie Dottie. They embracing Obama like he's one of us. He's not like us. He is not like us. He has proven. Obama has proven that he's more Drake than Kendrick, man. More Drake than Kendrick. But I like both of the guys. I don't know, whatever. I still listen to Drake, and I listen to Kendrick. But the thing about it is, look what happened to Hugo Chavez and Gaddafi during Obama's reign. They got out of here. They took him out of here. They finished the job. George W. Bush administration tried several times to get Hugo Chavez. They tried to do a coup d'etat, all that stuff. It's crazy. But they finally got him. And it's on Obama's watch. And the thing about it is AFRICOM. All this stuff happened on Obama watch. They used to call Obama the Drone Ranger because, he was he was a hitman from Chicago. He was, Daddy Long Legs, hitman from Chicago. He was calling drones, boy, like umpires be calling strikes in baseball. So, Obama was, he was, y'all talk about drill rapper. Obama was presidential grill rapper from Chi-Town. He was a hitter. Like y'all talking about some King Von. King Von ain't got nothing on Barack Obama. His hit list does not compare to Barack's hit list. You understand? Barack got bodies like Lottie Dottie. But anyway, Barack made his appearance on his wife's, in my opinion, podcast. Michelle Obama got her podcast because everybody doing podcasts. You got retired athletes, you got out of work actors, you got out of work politicians, you got all types of people now doing podcasts. I mean, when I first started doing podcasts back in January 2007, it was the Wild Wild West, man. It was the Wild Wild West. It was unsettled, and you had to be the pioneer. It's like playing that, if you are Generation X, old man millennial like I am, you can remember playing Oregon Trail at school in elementary, the Oregon Trail game, computer game. going out west, trying to stake your claim, try to make your fame, try to make the game. Sometimes you don't complete the game, or you get taken out the game. But, you know, I look at what's going on now, you know, comparing 2007 when it was the Wild West versus 2025 is amazing. You think about YouTube when it started 20 years ago, you know, it was, you know, doing cat videos and this simple stuff. Now it's just, you know, the biggest website, I think, on the web, on the World Wide Web. But with that said, let us not forget, you know, Barack, on his watch, Gaddafi got taken out of here. You know, it's true, they still doing slavery, or they were, you know, in the Sudan, slave trade, you know, Libya, they're having trafficking issues after they took out Gaddafi, because Gaddafi had a certain quality of living in Libya. You know, the people was living at a quality, at a high level. You know, they subsidized people education, from my understanding. I don't know. I don't think it was any homeless people in Libya when Gaddafi was around. People was living good. And then, you know, Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, they show you how gangster America is. When they took out Gaddafi, she out there cackling and stuff. She's Secretary of State. That's how homicidal this thing is, this death machine. Like Dr. King said, the greatest purveyor of violence on the planet is my own government. Thank you, Brother Brian. You said, I'm good. You can hear me. Just let me know. Don't fear me, but feel me. Don't fear me. Feel me. And receive what you got to receive from me. Can you dig it? But with that said, don't forget what happened on Barack's watch when it came to so-called people of color, especially in Africa. It's really a shame. When Barack Obama was a Trojan horse for European imperialism. You know, he was the Trojan horse. Like they said, check out Alex Jones's Obama Deception. It's somewhere on the internet, somewhere. But yeah, I saw the In My Opinion podcast he did with his wife, Michelle, and his brother-in-love, brother Craig Robertson, Michelle's bio brother. That's the only episode I ever saw in its entirety. I have seen clips, you know, since she started the podcast. I'm not, you know, Michelle is, you know, I would say one thing, I mean, it's growing. I think the Obamas are the biggest trolls on the internet. I think they're better trolls than 50 Cent and Donald Trump. Because y'all don't know they trolling. I think they trolling for clicks, likes, subscriptions, and money. They trolling for that stuff, man. Because I don't think they believe everything they saying. I really don't. I think it's interesting. But then, you know, you start looking at it, you know, our people, I mean, I'm talking about black people, we really got to wake up, y'all. Y'all like to dream about staying on the plantation, and y'all like to live on the plantation, but y'all dream of staying on the plantation. And y'all keep on thinking these folks got our best interest. And this is sad because I listened to that whole podcast. That's the only podcast I ever listened to. In My Opinion, IMO, Michelle Obama's podcast with Brother Craig. And Obama did not disappoint because he is who he, you know, he is that guy or that gal, whatever he want to be. But Obama said some interesting things. And you know what? It's some things I feel like he had a point. And then some things were just out of order. You know what I'm saying? And his wife. And I'll say this, like, it was interesting because when they were talking about, you know, boys needing mentors. And Obama mentioned that a gay professor in college helped him see things differently, in a different way. I guess he was saying he was living his life toxic masculinity or whatever like that. But the thing about it is that what I thought was interesting. I think Craig really made wake up. Craig Robinson made some interesting points about his father. It really reveals something about Michelle. It seems like she has a hatred for her father. Something about her father that, you know, is interesting because this guy, it's like he was a breadwinner, a provider, a protector. He was a hard worker, from what I can understand. He was dealing with multiple sclerosis, and he still was able to bring home the bacon. And Michelle was asking her brother, like, what were some good things about their father? And then I think she was implying that there was some bad things as well. But Craig was saying that he helped them solve problems and stuff. He was able to talk to his father about certain things. And then Michelle was acting like, well, her father was like disrespectful to her mom, who just passed recently, by, you know, implying that he would come home to work from work after long days of work. Mind you, he's dealing with his health ailments, you know, going to work, you know, supporting the family. And she said he would just kick up his feet and be relaxing, not helping his mom cook or other house chores. But her brother Craig said it's like that was mom's domain. Mom wanted to cook and clean. When was she, you know, not cooking and cleaning? That was her domain. That what she was doing. That was her role in that relationship, in that family dynamic. You know, the man is protector, provider, bring home the bacon, and she cooks the bacon. She makes sure he has a tidy home that he can come to where he can enjoy some peace of mind and you know, take a load off. You know, so they were actually playing their roles, and now everything has become so twisted because one legacy of the civil rights movement was feminism. You know, the rainbow movement benefited from the civil rights movement. See, everybody benefits from Black people sacrifices except for Black American natives. Everybody benefits from Black American natives sacrifices except for Black American natives. Because like what they do is they always say, well, no, this is for Black people. Then it becomes for all people. How is it that, you know, Black folks been getting messed over since 1619 in this so-called republic, this country, whatever this land is? This land ain't my land. This land ain't your land. I don't know whose land it really is. Okay, because everybody's immigrants, right? You suppose. But my thing is, Asians get an anti-Asian hate bill before Blacks. You know how many decades and centuries that they were trying to do the anti-lynching bill for Black folks that was not passed. Yet we was voting all the time. You know what I'm saying? It was like it's Stockholm syndrome. It's kind of like, you know, it's Cassie with Diddy. I mean, are you a victim or are you a co-conspirator in your own oppression? And that's what Black folks, Black American natives, we got to ask ourselves, are we really victims? Are we participants in our own torture? And do we like being tortured? Because the simple fact is that even Obama is, you know, and Michelle, they got this thing about Black people not being compliant to the Democratic plantation. You know, like Barack Obama, he showed his true colors once again in his mom jeans, belittling, demeaning Black American men about not voting for Camellia or Camouflage Harris. You know, he said, you know, you got a problem with women. Y'all got a problem with women. Y'all don't want a woman in power. No, it's just, we don't want her to be empowered. We don't want to empower people that demean us, Barack Hussein Obama. The only reason you got a Black vote really was because of your wife. You married a Black American native woman from the South Side of Chicago that could relate, identify, that connected to the Black American native experience, because you're not a Black American native. You're mulatto, you this and that. You like the United Nations of a person, and then, you know, we are the world. That's you. You're not, you know, Lord, 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 Lord. You ain't that, okay? You ain't collard greens. You ain't from the Delta. You ain't that, okay? So stop it, you know. So, but thing about it is, it's troubling that Barack, you know, has this issue with Black men. I don't know, because of his father issues, daddy issues, but it's an issue. But he talked about, you know, and shout out once again, Craig Robinson, Michelle's brother, defending their father against his own sister, who is the daughter of the same man who is his father. And it's just strange. And Barack and Michelle said something recently about not being. She was glad she didn't have to raise a son by Barack Obama, and I'm glad they didn't raise a son as well. I'll be honest with you, because this guy. I mean, it would be better if Will Smith and Jada Smith raised their son if they had a son. I think the values, but was interesting is that Obama brought up, he feels he kind of, afraid about his daughter's prospects, his daughters, having a man out there that's a gentleman that know how to treat women, know how to respect women, know how to treat a lady. Okay, he talked about how his daughters would go out with in a group, and some of the guys would have alligator arms, like they'd be very hesitant to pick up a check and let everybody else pick up the check. But he talked about that. I said, Barack, you had 8 years with all type of resources to help boys become men, to create a rites passage program for boys to become men. And he did not do that. All Barack did was belittle black men while he was in power. Telling them, you got to be better fathers and pull your pants up. He had Morehouse. This is the cream of the crop. These are graduates. These are men who graduated from college with honors, very ambitious, young, gifted, and black. And, he up there, this, being stern and all this crap. And I compare and contrast that with the billionaire, the black billionaire, Robert Smith, actually paying off the student loan debt of the graduating class that he gave the commencement speech for at Morehouse. And people don't understand how big that was for him to do that. By him alleviating their student loan debt, they are able to start their careers debt-free. They are able to actually have a chance to create a family. So he was promoting black families by helping counsel or get rid of their student loan debt. He gave them a chance to have something in this world, to build something in this world, to build something together with somebody in this world, to create generational wealth. That's what Robert Smith's gift was to Morehouse. And people say, well, he should have did that for Spelman. Well, he wasn't invited to speak at Spelman. I believe Oprah spoke at Spelman before. Why she didn't do that for the girls graduating or the women graduating from Spelman. But Robert Smith, next thing you know, he having IRS trouble. So he said, I'm going to pay off the student loan debt for this graduation class of Morehouse. That was 2018. Y'all can look that up. Take a look. It's all online. Then the IRS started coming after him because he was not no athlete. He didn't make his money like that. He was an investor. He's made his money on the stock market, from my understanding, right? So that's what they do. Because I remember, I ain't gonna never forget the conversation I had with Jeffrey Haas. He was a lawyer up in Chicago. He was a good friend of Fred Hampton Sr., Chairman Fred. He helped the family with their civil lawsuit against the federal government for the assassination of Fred Hampton Sr. and defense captain Mark Clark of the Black Panther Party of Illinois while they were sleeping in Fred Hampton's West Side apartment, December 4th, 1969. So he said, Brother Ron, he wrote a book called The Murder of Fred Hampton. They came out a while, not that long ago, but a while back. And he said, Brother Ron, the reason why we was able to do activism, to be lawyers who were activists, because we was not burdened with student loan debt coming out of law school. We was able to, go in and serve the community, not worry about, paying back all this money, because we was able, it made us free and to engage and build with the community because we wasn't chasing the dollar. So that's very important to note. That's very important to note. And so when Robert Smith did that, but Obama is tone deaf. He didn't do that. I remember Obama had a black attorney general, Eric Holder, who said that if we, I'm paraphrasing, if we as a nation do not face this thing that concerns race, we are a nation of cowards. And sure enough, we are a nation of cowards because Eric Holder did not do anything as it relates to black people catching hell from the police establishment, whether it be Ferguson, whether it be, look at Trayvon Martin. Well, Obama had a moment, said that could have been my son, and he took it back. Obama had a moment when the police officers disrespected Skip Gates, one of his friends, Professor Skip Gates up in Harvard. They disrespected him in Cambridge at his home. He said he acted stupidly or something like that. Then he took it back and they had a beer summit. And there was a foreshadowing of things to come in the Obama administration. Because the white race soldiers said, you know what? Obama is a chump. He's a pushover. He's a paperweight. We could do whatever we want to. Because think about all the stuff. Y'all talking about Trump, but think about all the black folks. Sandra Bland, Philando Castile, Eric Gardner, and then Al Sharpton was right up in the White House with his bobbleheaded self. What did he do for black people? Where's the anti-black bill, Al? You had the ear of the president. Where is the anti-black bill? 8 years, man. Mr. Informer. Mr. Informer. Did you inform the president that he should do something for black people in them 8 years, man? See, this is the thing. Obama, it's like how many black folks got killed on Obama's watch? And y'all talking about Trump. Y'all can miss me with that crap. I talking about Central Park 5. Trump didn't put them in prison. Democratic political machine up in New York put them in prison. You had a Democratic governor, mayor, DA, all this stuff. The Democratic Party put the Central Park 5, whatever, in prison. This is 5 or 9, who knows? It's always changing the story. Like a lot of people don't know there was 2 other people in the car with Rodney King. Why do they don't want people to know that? Y'all gotta ask yourself a question. Why they don't want us to know certain things, right? But getting back to the Obama mess, the fiesta, the podcast, in my opinion, and I hope y'all still can hear me. Obama got some daddy issues. Now, both Obamas got daddy issues. Okay, both Obamas. I think y'all can hear me. Let me see. Both Obamas got daddy issues. Michelle got a hate about her father, which is interesting. It came out. You look at their body language. Obama like he don't have any unit in between his legs. The way he sit. Michelle's sitting like, yeah, I want another beer, man. Give me another beer, man. Like she's sitting like a big mic, okay? And Craig is like, he's the mediator. I'm Craig. I got this voice. I'm a mediator. I'm 6'6", but I got this voice. So with that said, no disrespect. Obama said something that was very interesting about boys needing gay mentors, so to speak, like, to help widen their view of the world, to help, make them less toxic masculine. And I think that was crazy how he tried to come off with that. You gotta remember, they the same people that produced that movie on Netflix about Bayard Rustin. But they trying to reinvent them like Bayard Rustin was the gay Malcolm X or something. Like they try to make Bayard Rustin like he was the most important person in the movement. And they try to make Dr. King and them little minor figures or marginalized figures or invisible figures in the story of our people. And they want to focus on Bayard being what we call it. We know the dude they talking about their prisoner, the booty warrior. Fleece the booty warrior or something. I don't know, because Bayard had a reputation back in the day. He would turn them white boys out. Them white wives were mad because Bayard would have them white boys 2 or 3 at a time in the car. I mean, he was flipping the white boys for the cause, man. It's like Tyler Perry's wet dream or something. I don't know. He was flipping them boys. Because, they came to the movement folks and said, Bayard, we caught them up there going booty hunting up in Cali. In Cali, we got them. Adam Clayton Powell Jr., they didn't want him to speak at the march. Reverend Adam Clayton Powell Jr., Democrat, first, Black Democrat representative from the Northeast, whatever. He actually did a lot of great things for the Black America as well as for America in general. And they don't talk about Adam Clayton Powell Jr. no more. He was the greatest congressperson that Black America ever had in the United States Congress. He got the job done. Look at his amazing legislative record. You think about, things that Lyndon B. Johnson's Great Society. I mean, he helped get, affirmative action done, helped get the money for the National Endowment of Arts. He helped a lot of things. I mean, the man had a lot of power. And, you don't talk about Adam Clayton Powell. And then what they did on The Godfather of Harlem, what they do to Adam Clayton Powell Jr. They emasculated this man's image. This man was, he was into women. Man, he was a man's man. And they had Giancarlo Esposito. I like him. He's a great actor. They had him put on a dress to hide from the mob. This man was calling out the name of the mobsters on the floor of Congress. He said, y'all keep on harassing Black people in Harlem about some numbers, but these the real folks that run Harlem. Gangsters. He named their names and read it for the congressional record. But they want to put him in a dress like he's scared of the mob like that. Okay? This is what they do to our strongest and best. They put them in dresses to demean, demoralize, emasculate. It's like, what's that guy named? Polite. Brother Polite. I know we don't supposed to talk about him no more. He into the ethers and whatever. But I remember seeing one of his videos online some years ago, and he went out to Hollywood and he was talking about how if you want to make it in Hollywood, a lot of guys got to act gay or be gay, whatever, got to act a certain way. And you know, it's like with the Diddy thing, that's always been Hollywood. It's always been a casting couch mentality. It's always some type of you got to play to pay or pay to play, or well, you got to play and pay, but you got to play. You know, you can't sit out on the sidelines. You know, everybody's in the freak out arena. But with that said, there's a reason why I don't like to use the word mentor. If you know about Greek and Roman culture, you know what the word mentor really means, which is to groom boys. You got grown men grooming boys. That's what a mentor is. And I'm talking about in the original sense of the word. I call people that give me guidance, that I seek wise counsel, who are elders, people that I respect. I call them jegnas. It's more of an African center type of tone. The ring to it is more like, you know, esteemed elder, venerated individual. I don't like using the word mentor because I know what that means. And Obama's saying that, you know, that boys need gay mentors. And I'm not knocking gay people at all. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to get into that not too far from here. First of all, I'm a creative person. I'm an artist. And so you got people, you know, that got certain sexual preferences, even in my field. And I have respect for them as long as you're not doing things that's, you know, like you putting, you know, kids, if you taking advantage of kids, I got a problem with it. But if you into consenting or how many adults, if y'all like the party like that, do your thing. Be you, be free. Just my thing is about respecting other people. Don't try to push it on me. Don't try to recruit me. Respect my boundaries. I respect your boundaries. That's how that works for me. But when he said that, I'm thinking to myself, Barry, that's interesting, man, how you said it, man. Like, I know you said a gay professor helped turn him around, but it's the way he said it, you know, is interesting. Like, Barack is really, people talking about how great of a communicator he is. It's kind of like it's interesting because my problem with Barack now is that sometimes he try to do things. It's like he want to be the most popular dude in class. If you want to be an effective leader, you can't worry about popularity all the time. You know, it's good to be popular, to be liked, but if you got to do something that's going to be a game changer that a lot of people may not be with, that you got to take a stand on, you ain't gonna always be the popular guy. But Obama want to be liked. Ooh, I think they like me. I think they like me. Ooh, I think they like me. That's his thinking. And he said something about, you know, his gay professor helping him see things a different way. And, you know, about the village, like village people. YMCA, he talking about village. We talking about it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village, young man. He think about some other village. But anyway, he was like, hell no, you know, we ain't doing that. But what y'all call drag queen hour, right? Y'all got, some places got drag queen hour where drag queens reading to the kids. Or you got, you know, I said, what type? I mean, it's interesting, man, what's going on out here. But my thing is, what came in the conversation, like, oh, Michelle and Craig, they'll tell me how, you know, Barack even admired the different types of men in their families, that they had different male role models, different men, you know, some quiet, some, you know, outspoken, da. So you learn from everybody. When I look at role models, I'm not necessarily looking for somebody always doing the right thing, because you can learn from everybody. Because when we was forced to be together as a so-called community, you have in our community, you have the doctors and lawyers, you also have the pimps, you have the addicts, you have all types of people in the community that you learn from. You learn from how, you know, what to do and what not to do based on the people that you encounter. And my thing is, it's not about knocking gay people, to be honest with you, but my thing is masculinity has been under attack for at least 60 years. There's been an effort to destroy masculinity, to destroy men, and people go laugh, but feminism was a weapon used to destroy the family structure. because like, like when Michelle talking about how father should have been in the kitchen and cleaning, the mom was cool with that because she knew her role. His role was on the outside, making sure they had the inside to stay in. You understand? So, but her thing is like, when feminists, I could do everything and anything like a man, and I should be compensated like a man. It's just like right now with the WNBA thing. I barely look at the NBA anymore. I look at it every now and then, but you can't tell me that the WNBA, no disrespect to those women, they're talented in their own right, is on the same level as the NBA. There's no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And they want the same money that the NBA is getting. And their business, they losing tens of millions of dollars every year. This is like a charity. How y'all demand things and y'all being treated like a charity? Like it's a tax write-off, okay? I mean, y'all, and no disrespect to women. It's like if a man want to play in a woman's sport, that's crazy. If you a biological man, you can't compete with other biological men, but you want to play with women who are biologically women, that's wrong. It should be trans leagues. It should be trans. I don't have a problem with having trans leagues, whatever. Play a league of their own, like they did us black people. Have a league of their own, okay? Have a league of their own. That's the ticket, man. That's the ticket. Have a league of their own. But the thing about it is, for a former president to be pushing, like, you got to have gay mentors for your kids, he represents a system that pushed black men out the home. He represents a system that pushed black fathers out of the homes, that destroyed black fathers through the Friends of the Court. A lot of good black men. Look at the movie Claudine with Diane Curl and James Earl Jones. They both righteous uncle stars now. And you look at the movie, this big, strong black man, proud black man, hardworking black man. When the petite white woman come around from the government, the social worker, what did he do? He was hiding in the closet. This is a big strapping black man hiding in the closet. So his girlfriend could still keep Zaddy, could still get the benefits from white Zaddy, which is the government. They said, but we ain't give you no benefits as a man in the home. To me, they're anti-family. This country, this republic, always been anti-family against black people, black American natives. Think about the Institute of Slavery. Think about welfare. Think about Jim Crow. Think about all these things that penalize black folks staying together. You remember 60 years ago, black people are some of the most married people in America, the black American natives. Both set of my grandparents were married with a whole bunch of kids. Now, people are afraid to start families. People are afraid to speak to each other. Men and women are afraid to speak to each other, to give compliments and all this stuff because, you might be canceled or Me Too or something like that. This is the goal of the powers they think they be, is to undermine, to depopulate, to desensitize, to make people asocial, not just antisocial, asocial and asexual. Make us so hate each other that we don't want to do anything together, let alone procreate together. Now we don't even eat as a family unit. A lot of us don't eat together as a family. Think about 2020, right? When 2020 came and everybody was forced to be quarantined for the most part, the world stopped, everything stopped, dropped, and everybody was forced to stay at home for months on end. When you used to working and being out, your kids used to go to school, extracurricular activities, if they're part of sports or whatever they're doing, you and wifey, y'all working y'all jobs, 40 plus hours, whatever, y'all out and about. But being forced to stay in for months on end, you start to realize, I don't know who these people are. I don't know my wife. The wife don't know the husband, and y'all don't know y'all kids. So y'all forced to deal. I can't deal with these people. I didn't even know who they were all this time. Now I'm forced to deal with these people I don't want to deal with no more. It's a deal breaker. So the family falls apart. Think about it, because nobody eats together, right? Everybody's in their own little room, on their tablet, on their phone, whatever, headsets, whatever they doing. And nobody's paying attention to nobody. Because when you used to eat together as a family, you was able to inquire about people's day. Well, how your day go, dear? Or son, how was your day? Or daughter, how's everything going? Are you okay? And people could actually share their day with their people. And at the table, which is interesting, you get to know not only your people, but you can help them solve some problems they may be having. that will otherwise go unnoticed because y'all never get together to eat, to break bread. Simple stuff like that they have eliminated because with all these distractions and stuff like that. So this is real talk here. And with the Obamas, they realized, well, he talking about, I want a suitable man for my daughters. You create an environment where y'all don't support manhood, don't encourage manhood, things of that nature. You don't have a rites of passage outside of putting people in prison, school of prison pipeline, to encourage these young men to be men, or young males to be men. And I see, I think about even with the so-called trans people, a lot of them who are biological male don't want to be a man because they see how men are treated in society. Men are disrespected. I'm not just talking about black men. I'm talking about men in general. We are disrespected in society. We are seen as expendable. Our feelings do not matter. I mean, I just turned 45. I'm like, damn, man. I'm thinking about stuff. I said, do people really care about me and how I feel about stuff? And should I let people in? Like, should I let people know how I feel really? Because I don't think they really care. I think even about the women in my life, do they really care that I might be suffering in silence? Do anybody care? So you start thinking about, what can a man do? They always say, well, man up. You got women telling men to man up. Who are you, woman? Woman up then, damn it. Stop being so hard and masculine so I could be hard and masculine. And you be soft and feminine every now and then. But I understand survival. The reason why women are like this because we're not raising males to be men. And then it's not that, it's the stuff, the chemical stuff. Man, they really doing a number on our drinking water, on our air quality, on food product. It's not just on you. They make it, it's on you. They'll say everything's hereditary, but it's not because your family, because it's the hereditary, it's the inheritance from a system of racism and a religion practice known as white supremacy that a lot of us are really sick. It's not because you have bad genetics. It's because we're dealing with a system that destroys people for profit and for fun and giggles. Yes. Just a very demoralizing, inhumane, insane system. So when Dr. King said that human salvation lies in the hands of the creatively maladjusted, he's talking about, people think creatively or maladjusted is a bad thing, but to be creatively maladjusted in a system that doesn't love you whole, that destroys and demeans, disfigures your mind, body, and spirit, of course you should choose to be creatively maladjusted. You should protest a system that is not found in nature, that's destroying you from the inside out, from the rooter to the tutor. You better be protesting that. So you look at, black boys. Black people are always the face of every problem in ill society, right? But that's not the case. We also help build society. They don't give us credit what credit is due. You think about all the stuff, we created country music. We created ice hockey. We created all types of inventions. That's why they started the U.S. Patent Office to keep black folks from owning the rights to their intellectual property. You got to remember that Dred Scott was told by the highest ranking Supreme Court Chief Justice Roger Taney that you nor your descendants have any rights that the white man is bound to respect by law, something like that. So we still dealing from a Dred Scott framework when it comes to Black American natives. And it's really a shame. It's really a sham and a shame. It's a shame. That's right. So thank y'all. Okay, y'all tuning in. Yeah, I can't stand Obama. Oh, I don't think Obama can stand himself. It's good to be seen. Thank you for tuning out to tune in again where you fit in. Exactly. People are in full-blown relationships with AI now. I mean, but the movies, look at all the movies that got us ready for 2025, predictive programming, even The Simpsons, all this stuff got us ready for what's going on now. People are living in a fantasy world. Do you think those two children are his? That's debatable. it's like it's debatable if Michelle is actually a woman. And I'll tell you this. I remember Baba Dick Gregory told me some years ago, he said, Michelle's a man. Now, he didn't say this on my show. I'm just telling y'all now, God bless the dead. Baba said, Michelle's a man, right? I said, huh? He said, yeah, man, she a man. Her mom was, her dad was a pimp for the Daily Machine, and her mom was a bottom beat. Now, that what Dick said off the rack. Dick be saying some crazy, he would say crazy stuff. I said, I can't go on the air with that. I can't, I'm gonna tell you why, people say, oh, I can't believe that, Brother Ron. I would have witnesses. We was after Dick Gregory's homegoing in Maryland. We went to the studios, Sirius X Studios in DC. We went to visit Joe Madison, renowned radio pioneer, the late great Joe Madison, known as the Black Eagle, who was real good friends with Dick Gregory. It was alumni. We both went to the same school in St. Louis, Washington University in St. Louis. He was there decades before me. I had a chance to interview Joe Madison a couple of times when I started doing podcasts. And I'm grateful for that encounter. And he told us as a group, Dick was telling me that Michelle was a man. And I said, I can't go on the air with this, Baba. Dick, I can't talk about Michelle Obama being a man. Remember when Joan Rivers said that, and look what happened to Joan Rivers, right? And because Dick was the type of person with Dick Gregory, he didn't mind being right and everybody thinking he was wrong. He didn't mind saying something that was so outrageous. Then once the world catches up to him, he already off to another thing. Dick had that type of thing about it. I remember somebody was telling a story about Dick. He talked about how, the polio vaccines cause cancer. The first ones that came out, they caused cancer in people. And people thought he was crazy. You can't say stuff like that. And he ended up writing the office of U.S. Senator Ted Kennedy, because Dick and his wife lived in Massachusetts. They lived in Plymouth, Massachusetts, I believe. Somewhere in Massachusetts. I think it's Plymouth at that time. And Ted Kennedy, of course, was a U.S. Senator from Massachusetts. So maybe they like neighbors or something. And people thought Dick was crazy when telling people that polio vaccine caused cancer in people. Then he got a letter back from the office of Senator Ted Kennedy. And basically, in a nutshell, Ted Kennedy said, yes, what you said is correct. It did cause cancer in some people, but we did not know that it was not intentionally given to people. As far as he knew, it wasn't intentionally given to people that caused cancer in people. But it's so like how Dick would say something that was so outrageous and crazy, and then everything caught up with what he said, and then he moved on to the next. It's like when he protested at the Olympic trials in St. Louis before the 68 Olympics. And he was the lone protester. And he thought he failed. He said, man, nobody supported me protesting because of how the United States was treating Black American natives. He said, protest being in the Olympics, protest the Olympics, because how you going to help us represent a country that don't even love us, right? And he thought he failed. He said, I'm a one-man protesting machine. Nobody came out. But what he didn't realize, it was a brother that saw him. I believe he was from East St. Louis. That brother name, eventually we know him as Dr. Harry Edwards. He was one of the organizers of the Black athletes who protested during the 68 Olympics in Mexico City. He saw Dick Gregory do that, and that inspired him to organize Black athletes to show solidarity, but it took a couple years later for that to happen. But what I'm saying is some seasons you plant seeds, some seasons it's the harvest, it's the reaping. So don't think that what you do is in vain, even if you think people are not supporting what you're doing. I feel like they're a lot. I feel like a lot of people don't really support what I do. I don't feel like my family really understands or support it, on both sides. And I'm just like a black sheep, even though I don't got no criminal record. I got advanced college degrees. I do a lot of good in community, but I feel like I'm just not appreciated for what I do. And it's alone. And Baba told me, once the universe selects you for the magic glasses, you can't force anybody to see what you see. You just got to deal with it. It's not your job to convince people to see things how you see it. It's a gift and a curse in a way. So what I'm saying is, it's very interesting. But yeah, he said that off the record. He said it, and he told Joe Madison that. And I know people that was there that day when Joe Madison said that Dick Gregory told him Michelle Obama was a man. And he said, I can't put that on the air. And also Dick Gregory told me that James Baldwin wasn't gay. Dick Gregory said James Baldwin was hustling white people. That's what he told me. Dick Gregory told me that James Baldwin wasn't gay, that he was hustling white people. It was a hustle. And I said, he is from Harlem, so you know how to hustle, man. But no Diddy, no baby oil. You know what I'm saying? But just James, damn, James. But he said that it was a great documentary that James Baldwin and Dick Gregory did when they were young men. I believe they were in England. You could probably find it on YouTube. They have a discussion with young people in England. Dick knew everybody. It was funny to me. Dick could say some outlandish things about people on my platform and other platforms. Next thing you know, he up there taking photographs with these people. These people hugging on Dick saying, "I love you." He said crazy stuff about Magic Johnson and other people and Oprah Winfrey. He was at the Selma screaming at Oprah's house. They all loving on Dick Gregory. Tyler Perry, he said crazy stuff about Tyler Perry. Next thing I know, they loving on Dick Gregory and stuff like that. I remember when Dick was a part of the Mark Twain Prize presentation for Eddie Murphy. And he told me that Eddie told him that he watched several hours of our interviews that we did. I said, really, Eddie Murphy? He's like, yeah, man. This is right after, this was back in December 2015. I was down in Atlanta, trying to interviewing Dick Gregory and Paul Mooney. They were doing a show, I believe, at the Uptown Comedy House in Atlanta. It's back in December 2015, right after his first grandchild passed away from an overdose up in Massachusetts. And Dick shared with me some interest. Now, I might have some Dick Gregory that y'all haven't heard. I might have some for y'all. But y'all got to support the channel, man. Y'all got to support what Brother Ron doing for y'all. And I might share. I found some Dick Gregory stuff. I'm using audio restoration programs and stuff, and I might have something new for y'all. Who knows? But even speaking of this, I'm gonna share this because I want to keep this under 2 hours. I know I could just talk all over the place. We're gonna talk about Malcolm-Jamal Warner in a little bit as well too. Before we get out of here. I just want to make it a habit of doing these things for y'all because y'all are good people. I want to take care of my people. Share. I got a story to share. I love this stuff, man. So we all be news free Dixie for the 21st century. Let me share the screen. Oh man, I have a long day, folks. I got a lot going on. It's a lot, man. And this is actually therapy for me. It's really therapy. And cause I want to get out there because people are like, everybody don't talk about some things I like to talk about. I want to talk about this one more time. I got to put this up there. I think y'all can see it. That's Barack Hussein Obama, and that's Harry Lennox. The third? Harry Lane. Is it Harry Lane? The actor from the 5 Heartbeats. He played in the Superman movies. He did a lot of stuff. He played Adam Clayton Powell Jr. in the Showtime series. Showtime movie. I mean, that's a good movie. Keep the Faith, starring Vanessa Williams as his wife, the great, talented Hazel Scott. And I got this Harry Lennox story that I don't want to die. I want to tell this story because it's very important to tell this story. I'm going to tell this story. I told this story before. Okay, this Harry Lennox, he was in the barbershop movie, one of the barbershop movies, right? Yeah, Harry Lennox, Harold Joseph Lennox III. Yes, known as Harry Lennox. He was in Ray and all that stuff. Now, there was a rumor that went around some years ago. And really, he helped start the rumor. He was on this popular show called the Man Cow Show in Chicago, the Chicago area. I don't know if it still come on, Man Cow. It was like some years back, not that long ago, but long enough ago. He talked to the producers after the show, I believe, and he said that the federal government approached him back in the 90s to teach Obama how to act like him. That the government approached him to teach Obama how to act like him, like a native Chicagoan that looked like him, sound like him, move like him. You think about it, Obama does sound, they kind of look alike and they kind of sound alike. And they both got Chicago roots, right? So he said that. And then he denied it, but this is off the record. He wasn't on the show, I don't believe. I think he alluded to it. Because he actually did know Obama back in the day. There's photos with him on Obama. I can find a photo with him and Obama just out and about. But he on the rack, I think he saying that's not true. But I remember, I ain't gonna never forget. This is back in maybe late February, early March of 2013. Had a college classmate and a stewardess friend. She was my college classmate, former business partner, and she was a flight stewardess. She came to Memphis, and we connected. I remember I took her and my mom to the Central Barbecue. I love Central Barbecue on Central at the time. You know, I guess that was the original one on Central Avenue in Memphis, Tennessee. And guess who was sitting in the dining area? It was Harry Lennox with a traveling companion. Yeah, I guess they were making their way back from deep down south back up to Chicago or something. And I told my friend and my mom, I said, Mom, and Nicole, that's Harry Lennox, man. That's Harry Lennox. Y'all know who he is? 5 Heartbeats. I was excited. So I went up to him at the table. I said, excuse me, sir, are you the Harry Lennox III? He said, yes, I am. I said, man, I love you and keep the faith, man. You was great. I know you did the 5 Heartbeats, but I love you and keep the faith. You did your thing as Adam Clayton Powell Jr. And I said, man, if they ever make a Barack Obama biopic, you need to play Barack Obama. And then he looked at me, he had a glit in his eye, and he smiled wide, showed his pearly whites, and he looked at his friend, and he just had a knowing glance and look and said, he don't even know, don't he? That basically he trained Obama to act like him. Let's watch a Harry Lennox movie and see how he moves, his mannerisms and stuff like that. And watch Obama. Obama's an actor who was trained by the actor. See, they didn't make a movie kind of like that King's Speech movie that was made by King George VI. What I think was it King George VI, Queen Elizabeth daddy, Queen Elizabeth II daddy. King's Speech that took over for his brother who advocated his crown because he fell in love with an American woman. But anyway, there's something to think about. And I think I got another picture I could show. I think I got another picture that kind of ties it up as well, too. We all be. Okay, I'm going to have to blow this up a little bit. Thank y'all for y'all patience. I'm going to wrap it up. I ain't going to be on here all night. I just want to make sure I do a show. I think I got it. I don't know, but this is a picture right here. You can't hardly see it, but that's Harry Lennox and that's Barack Obama. Maybe I can show it. Let me remove that. Maybe I can show it. Find a place to show it. Trying to put them together, pictures together. Yeah, I found a picture. Fascinating. View open image and tab. Man, internet is undefeated, man. Man, the internet is undefeated. I'm gonna find that picture. There you go. See that? I don't know who the white man is in the middle, but there you go. That's down. Cause they're brothers, identical brothers, and you find. See, that's them. So I mean, what to believe, man. It's a game. Like Bobby Dick said, it's a game. It's a game, it's a game. I just want to prove that point. And also about Obama's father. I want to do that right quick, and then we can move on. Okay. It's like a Maury Povich situation. Now, I really believe, and I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but you cannot tell me that Frank Marshall Davis ain't Barack Obama's daddy. You can't tell me that, because I'm looking at his mama. I'm looking at Barack Obama Sr. He looks more like Frank Marshall Davis, a Black American native man, than he does the African man. Look at it. Look at the features. I'm an artist. Look at the facial features. Look at his mom. He got his mama head shape. But look at the eyes. Look at the mouth. Come on now. You can't tell me Frank Marshall Davis ain't Obama's real daddy. It ain't the African. That's all I got to say. And how convenient that the African died in a car accident, well, in Kenya back in the day. And his mama passed on, I believe, with 95. But, but that guy was a mentor. Frank Marshall Davis was a mentor to Barack. But he looks like a Barack. He was a Harlem Renaissance poet, photographer. He was a Renaissance man. And also, I think he was a communist, socialist type of dude. So he was one of the people in Barack's village. But you can't tell me that ain't his daddy, Frank Marshall Davis. That's another story. Okay, well, Brian said, yeah, Michelle Obama went to my high school. It's a woman. But Obama been rumor gay for years. I mean, yeah, you in Chicago, folks, y'all know. Because, he was part of him and Rama Manuel, his chief of staff, they were part of the DLC club, with the Down Low Club. See, Chicago folks know. Remember, like, Larry Sinclair came out with that book about being Obama's lover, that they was on a crack binge or whatever, supposedly, sex crack binge type of freak off thing they were doing. It's back in the 90s, I believe. And Larry Sinclair came out with that book around 2008. He went to court and he beat it. And I think Larry Sinclair is still alive. But I mean, to each their own. But this is not, people use their head. Obama's like he's a CIA asset, allegedly. I believe Obama's a CIA asset, maybe, perhaps, allegedly. But that's interesting to think about. He really is a rainbow warrior, but I'm gonna tell you something else. He wasn't the first gay. He wasn't the first gay president. No. Let's go to the first gay president that everybody say was gay. Anyway, I wasn't around back then, but let's put that out there. And Barack should come out the closet. I mean, this is the perfect time to come out the closet. He should come out the closet. I think he should come out the closet. This is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. Okay. There you go, right here. That's James Buchanan. He was the 15th president of the United States. The only president who was not married in the history of U.S. presidents. He was a bachelor. James Buchanan was a bachelor. But now what's interesting, because people say he's the first gay president, I want to read something that he allegedly wrote to one of his female friends. And this is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century, right? Oh, y'all riding with me? People say, Brother Ron, crazy. I am, man. I'm just tired, man. But I thank y'all who roll with me and who know there's a method to the madness. Okay. I'm going to read something. They say he wrote this, man. I'm going to read it from this. Today, I know no historian who has studied the matter and thinks Buchanan was heterosexual. 15 years ago, historian John Howard, author of Men Like That, a pioneering study of queer culture in Mississippi, shared with me the key documents, including Buchanan's May 13th, 1844 letter to a Mrs. Roosevelt, describing his deteriorating social life after his great love, William Rufus King, senator from Alabama, had moved to Paris to become our ambassador to France. Buchanan wrote, I am now solitary and alone, having no companion in the house with me. I have gone a wooing to several gentlemen, but they have not succeeded with any one of them. I feel that it's not good for a man to be alone and should not be astonished to find myself married to some old maid who can nurse me when I am sick, provide good dinners for me when I am well, and not expect from me any very ardent or romantic affection. You see, it's that he wrote this. Let me read again. He said, I am now solitary and alone, having no companion in the house with me. I have gone a wooing to several gentlemen, but have not succeeded with any one of them. I feel that it is not good for man to be alone and should not be astonished to find myself married to some old maid who can nurse me when I'm sick, provide good dinners for me when I am well, and not expect from me any very ardent or romantic affection. Now, you know what? That sounds very gay. That sounds very gay to me. That sounds very gay. Yeah, I heard about Abe Lincoln, but I'm talking about this dude that wasn't married, right? Because like y'all think it's a red flag. A lot of guys ain't married now, and a lot of guys don't have kids. I'm a guy that's 45. I am not married. I don't have any kids to my knowledge. But Mr. Buchanan is the only president in U.S. history, from my understanding, who was not married and didn't have kids. But he wrote that letter to that Miss Roosevelt about wooing gentlemen. This, you got to think about this, the 15th president of the United States, right? He's the president before the American Civil War. Actually, America did have a civil war with the Mormons. The Mormons fought the American government just right before the Civil War. No, he was the president when John Brown raided Harper's Ferry down in West Virginia, what is now known as West Virginia, but back then it was Virginia. You mean to tell me that the country was cool with having a gay president, but not cool with ending slavery? The country was cool with having a gay president back in the 19th century, but it wasn't cool with ending slavery. And I'll tell you the truth, some of the most racist people on the planet are gay white men. Not all gay white men, but some of them, enough of them. Think about Hitler and the brown shirts, right? That was his homosexual wing of his party. And Hitler had to do what? The Night of the Long Knives. Look at the Night of the Long Knives. We got rid of that faction. He was afraid of them. They was some homicidal homosexuals. But anyway, yeah, that's James Buchanan, right? So what does a Barack is that? Just come on out, man. You created gay marriage. You approve. You say, I changed my mind. I thought about it and I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I changed my mind. But let's talk about some other things too. A lot of people don't want to talk about, people talk about Chicago, Larry Sinclair, he wrote the book, right? But people don't talk about the black men that Obama was connected to at Reverend Wright's church, right? Trinity. Let me look that up. You have the choir director who was killed in a home invasion, who was openly gay. There was a friend of the Obamas, the choir director at the church, the Reverend Wright Church, who was there for 20 years. Let me see. His name was Donald Young. He was just 47 years old, got killed in a home invasion. Choir director. I'm trying to look him up. Yeah, December 23rd, 2007. There was a couple other black men at the church that died around the same time. I think Nate Spence was another one who got killed in the home invasion. I'm trying to look at all the people. I can look up these people too. They both got shot multiple times in their homes. Trying to look these people up. Nate Spence, Donald Young. Yeah, Donald Young was the choir director. Let me post a picture of Donald Young, okay? He an ancestor now. But he was an openly gay black man who was an elementary school educator, in Chicago area. And his mom was very vocal about him getting killed and trying to connect Obama's people to it. Mm-hmm. Trying to find it. It's crazy, man. The internet is something else. You go down these rabbit holes. Trying to find an image of Donald Young. And y'all could probably find it easy too. Let's see, is that it? I ain't trying too hard. But anyway, I find out, don't. But look up Larry Sinclair and on Barack Obama accusations. Trying to find it. Okay, maybe this is it. So small. See if we can zoom it up. Okay, I guess that's good enough. Woohoo! Y'all be in it to win it. Okay, this is Donald Young. This is a picture of him doing choir directing. I'm gonna read a little bit about what happened to him. Thank you, Sister Betty, for the donation. Thanks for all you said for all the time and commitment. I appreciate it. We love you, Madeline. Thank you for the donation. Let's see. Okay, and I talk about Nate Spence, right? It said information surrounding Nate Spence, Barack Obama, and Donald Young primarily revolves around rumors and theories linking Obama to Young's death. Donald Young was the choir director at Trinity United Church of Christ in Chicago, the church attended by Barack Obama before his 2008 presidential campaign. Young was found murdered in his home in December 2007. Rumors and unsubstantiated theories have attempted to connect Obama to Young's death and have suggested a relationship between the two individuals. Some sources which are largely considered unreliable and politically motivated have amplified these claims, often alleging a cover-up during the 2008 presidential election. Regarding Nate Spence, there's a lack of credible information directly linking him to Obama or Young in the context of these rumors. However, there are some unrelated updates about individuals named Nate Spence or Nathan Spence. Okay, never mind. But it's about 3 black gay men that went to church with Obama. They ended up dead within a month and a half period of each other. Now they went to the same church as Obama Trinity that was led by Reverend Jeremiah Wright. I saw Reverend Jeremiah Wright speak at the University of Memphis, April the 3rd, 2009. Thank you for the donation. Prototype 1985, must respect old OG. OG, I love listening to your wisdom. Thank you so much. And they trying to shut me down in every which way, man. But it was 3 guys. One guy died from AIDS or HIV complications. I'm trying to find the information for y'all before I get out of here. And I'm gonna move on to Malcolm-Jamal Warner. There's some things I wanted to talk about a little bit more about the Obama thing. I'm gonna talk about it, but I'm gonna try to do it under 2 hours. Let's see. Trying to read as much as I can. Okay, this is an old Chicago Sun Times article from December 26, 2007. Chicago police were searching for answers Tuesday about who shot and killed a beloved choir director and teacher in his Southside home. Meanwhile, funeral arrangements were set for Donald Young, who for 2 decades directed the choir at Trinity United Church of Christ, a high-profile African-American church. Donald Young, choir director of Trinity United Church, was found murdered. U.S. Senator Barack Obama attends the church at 400 West 95th Street in the Brainerd community. Young, 47, also a deacon at Trinity, was found shot in the head by his roommate Sunday morning, Chicago police said. He suffered several gunshot wounds, according to authorities. When Young's roommate came home about 7:30 a.m., he found the door to the apartment in the 2300 block of East 69th unlocked but closed, police said. Christmas presents and some jewelry were missing from the apartment, but police have not yet settled on robbery as the motive. The roommate is cooperating with investigators. The popular Young also taught fourth grade at the Guggenheim Elementary School, 7141 South Morgan. The Reverend Jeremiah Wright Jr., longtime pastor of Trinity United Church of Christ, said Young lived and breathed music. A viewing of Young's body will take place from 4 to 7 p.m. Thursday at the church. Private wake and funeral is scheduled following the viewing. Okay, this is like, that was from December 2007, right? So it was like three gay black men were killed around the same time. And Nate Spence was one. Let me see. I'm trying to find the third name of the third black man. I had this, it's just interesting. Okay. It said 3 members of Obama Church killed. Let's see. They talk about the bombshell may involve the murder of Donald Young, a 47-year-old choir master at former Reverend Jeremiah Wright's Trinity United Church of Christ, the same congregation that Obama has attended for the past 20 years, 2 other young black men that attended the same church, Larry Bland and Nate Spencer, were also murdered execution style with bullets. I think Larry Bland died from complications of AIDS or some HIV. I don't see why you gotta, okay. What links this story to Barack Obama is that, according to an acquaintance of Obama, Larry Sinclair, Obama is a closeted bisexual with whom he had sexual and drug-related encounters in November 99. He said further, Sinclair is a white man, okay, claims that Obama was friendly with at least 2 of these deceased parishioners and that choir director Donald had contacted him shortly before being murdered for multiple gunshot wounds on December 23rd, 2007. Okay, I ain't gonna get out. I mean, I'll say one thing, because it's like, to wrap it up, Donald Young's mom, she feel like, that Obama's people had something to do with it. I don't know if she's still alive, because she was elderly back then. She was about maybe 70-something years old, 73, when they talked to her. But she believed that Obama people allegedly may have something to do with her son getting killed. So there's something to throw out there. But let me thank y'all. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Love you madly. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. But yeah, this is I'm gonna do some more about this, but this is something that I knew about some years ago. That it's funny how everything is coming around full circle, because even with the Diddy thing, like people think with the Biggie and all this stuff, people talking about Gene Deal, the bodyguard, he had put out a lot of information over years. But I remember like right after Biggie died, it was a Vibe magazine that had his profile on the magazine, right? I remember that Vibe magazine that came out after Biggie got killed. And they talked about back then that, Bad Boy was connected with the Crips out in California. So that was like news back in the 90s. But the only thing in the 90s, we didn't have the internet and social media like we do now. That's the only difference. But y'all look up, because Larry Sinclair did a press release when he, wrote his book about him and Obama being lovers. He did that at the, we call that club in DC, the Reporters Club or something, the press club in DC. They came after him, and They took him to court and he beat it. So what they tell you, but ain't nothing new. It's the games, right? So I was saying with Obama, I just want to say something and wrap it all up because I feel like, it's sad that Obama could not do nothing for Black American natives. He did a lot for gay people. He did a lot for immigrants, legal and illegal, but he did nothing for Black American natives who we almost voted 100% for Barack Obama. I voted twice for Barack Obama. I went to both inaugurations. I spent a lot of money. I actually got a $300 speeding ticket in Southern Virginia, racing back home to vote for Barack Obama a second time in a state that he was not going to win, which is Tennessee. He was not going to win Tennessee. But I raced through the Blue Ridge Mountains. I got lost in the Blue Ridge Mountains and still made it in time, right before closing of the polls, to vote for Barack Obama with a $300 plus speeding ticket. So, people say, well, you hate Obama. I don't hate Obama, but I'm disappointed that he misled us. He bamboozled. He hoodwinked Black American natives. And now the magic, the thrill is gone. Well, BB King's a centennial birthday year this year. And like BB King used to sing, the thrill is gone. Take him and his mom jeans back to Hawaii. His mom jeans wearing ass. We don't need him no more. He's useless. I mean, because he didn't do nothing for Black American natives, man. He didn't do nothing. That orange man is proving that you could do whatever you want. Damn the consequences. People talking about, well, he Black. I said, don't you know Black is a superpower? Only Black American natives and Black people in general think that Black is not a superpower. There is a limitation. To be Black, that's the universe. That's the cosmos. That's God energy. So for you to say, no, he couldn't do this because you were Black, that's an insult to Blackness. He should have did it because he's Black, allegedly. But he's beige. He's afraid of his own Black shadow. So, I mean, for y'all to sit up to still defend Obama now, I'll say this. I like the fact he talked about what he talked about. But the thing about it is, boys need men to show up for them as men. That's the problem. Because men, let me talk. I mean, look, because a man is a problem solver. Women, this is why it's a difference of the sexes, right? A man, he's not only a provider and protector, he's a problem solver. A woman wants to be noticed, wants to be heard. Like women, it's funny because I wish somebody told me if I had a man that could told me this early on, I've been better off. But women don't want you to solve their problems. They want to complain about their problems. They want people to hear them talk about their problems. But if a man even considers about, I'm going to solve a problem, you a problem. You understand? Because men and women don't think alike. You got a lot of guys. I'm in Memphis and, you got juvenile crime. You got a revolving door down in juvenile court. They give them 19 tries to commit crime. In Memphis, they got a policy where they give the kids 19-point system. Let's say you get to break into a car 19 times, and on the 20th try, that's when they throw the book at you. Because they don't want to discriminate because, a lot of Black boys, a lot of Black people live in Memphis. So if all the criminals mostly are Black, then a criminal is a criminal. But the thing about it is that, people said, like they said in the podcast, they said, we love our boys and raise our girls. You're not even raising your girls no more. They don't even raise daughters no more. You're not raising daughters no more. And you're not raising no boys. You most definitely ain't raising the boys. You most definitely ain't loving the boys. It's like boys are demonized and emasculated in the society right now. And the thing about it is men solve problems. Women complain about problems. And that's okay. That's our role. But my thing is, now you got boys that want to whine. They be in their emotions. That's why they make temporary decisions with permanent consequences. Like, look at a lot of kids, they like to shoot because now, you just can't fight no more. People said back in the day we used to be able to fight and used to make up. But now the problem with fighting today is that everything goes on social media. So if you lose real bad, that's going to be played for the rest of your life. That's going to be because once you upload to the internet, it's forever. You could delete as many copies as you can of that video if you getting your ass handed to you. But once it's on the internet, it's forever. And nobody wants to take a L. Not realizing that all the greats lose a fight. All the greats, unless you Rocky Marciano and the mob fixed the fights for you. I don't care what nobody say. Mob fixed them fights for Rocky Marciano. I mean, yeah, he had some hits, but he beating up dudes in retirement homes and stuff. Like, Joe Louis was 125 years old when he fought Rocky Marciano. But what I'm saying is, life is all about being a good loser. And I don't know if people figure that out. It's like you're gonna lose anyway because you die. And you're gonna be losing people, you could lose your mind, you can lose a lot of things in life, but you could also win. But in order to learn how to win, you got to know how to lose. And if young boys are not taught that it's okay to fall short sometimes, but the only way you could fail is if you stop trying, that's a problem. So you got kids that don't have that influence. Like even Tupac said, had he had a father figure in his life, he would have been so quick to jump into certain things. He didn't say it like that, but basically saying, if I had a father figure, he said, my mouth is like my mother. I was raised by my mom. I got a mouth like my mom. But if I had like a father figure, he could say, wait a minute, hold up. You gotta, practice some restraint. See, men teach you, being a man, you got to have some restraint. You can't always, throw yourself out there. You got to, stop and think about it. You got to stop and process. That's what real men do. We thinkers. And, we sometimes we could be spontaneous and stuff like that, but you want to think about the problem. You want to look at it from different angles and perspectives. But if you got kids, it's like, you look at a woman can break down in public, can cry, can scream, can kick and all that. And people are like, okay, she's a woman. Imagine a big 6'5", 300-pound black boy doing that. Exactly. See, that's why it's important to have men in these kids' life, and especially in young girls' lives as well, too. Because a man inspires confidence in their children. They inspire support. They inspire confidence. That's important. And that's why, everything is off kilter now, because you got men not being men. I ain't even talking about sexuality. I'm talking about like just taking risks and standing on something and being ambitious and full of testosterone to push it to the limits. You don't have that no more, because it's not your fault. It's a lot of things they're doing to our food, to our air, to our water, to our minds with this internet, social media, with the blue screens. There's a lot of things going on that's not natural. It doesn't exist in nature. So they're trying to play God, and God is undefeated. Mother Nature, Father Time is undefeated. Yes, emotional intelligence. You need some more emotional intelligence, and that's training. We don't have a rites of passage, and that's another thing. I'm gonna get off. There's so much to talk about, but with the Obamas, they basically trolling people. I don't believe they believe what they're saying, most of it, but they're getting a paycheck for it. And they sold off Black American natives, because we should have had an anti-Black bill with the first so-called Black president. But Obama was afraid to pardon Jack Johnson and Marcus Garvey. Even Joe Biden had no sense to pardon Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And Donald Trump pardoned Jack Johnson. Really, that was tailor-made for Obama to do, because Jack Johnson is buried in Chicago. He got Chicago connection. And it was tailor-made. And then on top of that, Donald Trump pardoned Larry Hoover. Obama is from Chicago, ain't he? From the folks. Now, I don't know if he's folk or not, but he definitely no folk. But what I'm saying is that even people talking about, well, Larry got state charges. Okay, yeah, you can work that out. But Donald Trump, that's big pimping right there. That's a tip, because Chicago, Illinois almost went red last election cycle. Black American natives rose up in Chicago. They were tired of getting effed over by their own people, these puppets with strings being pulled. And they rose up, and Black people rising up. Black American natives are rising up everywhere. It is our time. This is the year of the Black man. That's why they're going after Black men, because this is the year of the Black man. Look at all the centennial birth years of Malcolm X and Medgar Evers and Robert F. Williams, Eddie Noel, Patrice Lumumba, Frantz Fanon, B.B. King. Centennial birth years of great Black men. We are riding the spirits of our righteous ancestors. And with that said, This is not about no black supremacy either. This is about humanity. This is about humanity. You know, I'm a black man. I'm a humane being. You know, people are like, well, you know, you gotta. My thing is this: I wish people get away from putting anybody on a pedestal. Just look at the work for what it is. You know, bury the man and continue to plan. Cause like we all got needs and wants and stuff like that. You know, I'm like LL Cool J. I need love. You know, people could be very critical and judgmental of people's love lives and stuff like that. I'm not very judgmental or hypocritical of anybody's life and stuff. Live the life you want, but also be a credit to your race. That is the humane race, okay? But until Black American natives are given our reparations in America, nobody gets justice until we get the justice. You understand? You are over and in the stand. So with that said, and you know what? And look at it. Larry Hoover and Jeff Ford would have made great mayors of Chicago. Because Gangster Daley, Richard Daley was a gang leader. Chicago was a gangster town. Richard Daley, Anton Cermak, they were mayors. They were gangsters. Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford helped give Chicago to Richard Nixon. Jeff Ford, an illiterate black man from Mississippi, he helped swan the election for Richard Nixon in '68. He had an invitation to attend the inauguration ball or whatever. You know, he sent some representatives to D.C., but that's not an urban legend. That actually happened. That Jeff Ford was able to swing the vote for Richard Nixon. You know, Richard Nixon lost Illinois because of Richard Daley and his machine, and them gangsters, the outfit, they swung Illinois for Kennedy. Nixon probably actually did win the election, but it is what it is. But he learned his lesson, and he had them street dudes swing the election for him the next time. Oh, his people did anyway. But let me think about. Okay, let's talk about Malcolm-Jamal Warner right quick. And I'll do another show. It's some things I didn't cover that I wanted to cover. That's okay. Talk about this good brother right here. It's like a part of my childhood, man. So many people going pass on you. You got Angie Stone left us, and then now Malcolm-Jamal Warner. And I would say on the questionable circumstance, I ain't gonna lie to you, I think it's questionable circumstances that he got taken out of here. Let me see. And please subscribe to We All Be TV 2, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. This is our stuff, y'all. Can you dig it? Good brother. Man, forever young, man. Malcolm, man, he took very good care of himself. And I was like, man, it was crazy when I first heard the news about Malcolm-Jamal Warner no longer being with us. Let me see if I can increase that screen for us. Our good brother. This is what I wrote when I first heard the news about Malcolm-Jamal Warner. I'm going to read it. I wrote this on my Facebook. I'm gonna tell you something weird, man. And people are like, that's why we got to have our own media to talk about our stories from our perspectives. I'll tell y'all something weird. I said this earlier. I said Malcolm-Jamal Warner is now a righteous ancestor. Like the late great Mr. Emerson Abel Jr. told me, nobody dies a natural death in show business. Nobody. I don't believe in accidents, but foul play can be hard to prove in many cases. His age was 54. 5 plus 4 equals 9. Also, Ole Miss football player who was recently killed in Memphis, Corey Adams, was 18 years old. 8 plus 1 or rather, excuse me, 1 plus 8 equals 9. 2025 is the year of the 9. 9 is endings and beginnings. It's a full circle. When you think about the number 9, it's about endings and beginnings. Full circle, completion. Also in 2019, John Singleton got sick in Costa Rica and ended up dying in Los Angeles at the age of 51. 5 plus 1 is 6, which is also upside down 9. Obama's chef, Tafari Campbell, drowned at 45 on July 23rd, 2023 at Martha's Vineyard. Blood sacrifices, ritual killings. We are in a Mercury retrograde. We are also in the Jason months. This is I got something from Black Dot and Malcolm. Shout out to them. I don't think they do podcasts anymore, but Black Dot would talk about the Jason months, right? You think about Jason, Friday the 13th. The Jason months are July, August, September, October, November. A lot more crazy-ish is about to pop off. Y'all stay woke and safe, man. So, yeah, Malcolm-Jamal wanted, who was known to be a very good swimmer, drowns. Accidental drowning, right? Accidental. I don't believe in accident. Like my friend, the late great Mr. Anderson Abel Jr., who died 10 years ago this summer. He said he would tell me, "Run, nobody dies of natural death in show business." Now, this man, dealt with Isaac Hayes and the Sammy Davis Jr.'s and the Al Greens and the Otis Reddings. He would tell me stories off the record that were like, what the, what? And he talked about that. And Malcolm-Jamal Warner did not die of natural causes, no doubt. Matter of fact, what's interesting also, I mean, like after Angie Stone, because, Malcolm was a spoken word artist, a musician. Spoken word artist. He did R&B, jazz, and soul. He collaborated with people like Layla Hathaway and some other notable people. I think he won a Grammy for some of his stuff as well, too. Let's see. Guess who else died around this time, too? Like July 21st of 1969. A.D. King, Dr. King's brother, he also died drowning in a swimming pool. And he could swim. This is Dr. King's brother. He died July 21st, 1969. A year and some change after his brother was assassinated in Memphis. That's A.D. King. He died in a swimming accident. Matter of fact, Whitney Young, the great Whitney Young. Y'all know who Whitney Young was? Whitney Young Jr. was the head of the National Urban League. He was one of the big 6 that Malcolm X talked about in his message to the grassroots. He was over the Urban League. He was able to get millions of dollars out of Kennedy, Johnson, and the Nixon administrations. He was over in Lagos, Nigeria, swimming in the ocean, and he drowned. This man was a World War II veteran. He could swim. And he drowned off the coast of Nigeria on March 11, 1971. He was just 49 years young. Also, 1971 was the year of the 9. You had 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 1. That's basically 18. 8 plus 1 is 9. So he died. I believe he was a blood sacrifice because when he died, Richard Nixon sent a plane to retrieve his body from Africa. And Richard Nixon did his eulogy. That's Whitney Young Jr. But also, like I talked about the football player who got killed over the weekend in Memphis, unfortunately, Corey Adams, who was a standout football player from Louisiana. His high school team won the state championship last year. And he was shot to death in Memphis, in the Cordova suburb, but it's still Memphis. This past Saturday around 10:15, 10:14, police or the sheriff's department found him in his car. They tried to give him life-saving efforts, but he passed on. Just 18, man. He been at Ole Miss since January. So I guess he got to school early and he was getting ready for his freshman year to play football for Ole Miss. And it seemed like he was a pretty good football player. He was 6'4", about 250 pounds. And pretty good award-winning football player. But these are blood sacrifices, folks. These are rituals. I talked about John Singleton. He was in Costa Rica, right? When he got sick, and they rushed him back to Los Angeles. He died at Cedar Sinai Hospital. He was 51. That's 6. And you know, it was John Singleton that helped create the TV show Snowfall. Y'all love Snowfall. I have yet to see a single full episode of Snowfall, but I look forward to we call it binge watching it sometime in the near future, like I did Breaking Bad. But John Singleton created Snowfall, which was based on the life story of Ricky Ross, Freeway Ricky, the real Freeway Ricky Ross. I met him and interviewed him a couple times for We All Be. Y'all can find that on We All Be TV too. Subscribe. But you also think about this, y'all, about Malcolm-Jamal Warner. I mean, he was a very quiet guy. You didn't hear any scandalous things about him, but he was a very important part of my childhood. Looking at Theo Huxtable on the Cosby Show. He was a very important part of my childhood because, like, you know, you had that hour, that Black Power, that Black Family Matters hour, not the Family Matters show with Steve Urkel, but we're gonna talk about that too. But you had that hour, you know, the first 30 minutes was the Cosby Show. Then the last 30 minutes of the hour was A Different World. And that really transformed the minds of the Black masses. You know, it was crazy because I remember at the end of the Cosby run, they were putting the Cosby Show against the Simpsons, man. You know, we know who eventually won that war, right? The Simpsons, because they still do Simpson cartoons, and I don't really care for the Simpsons. I ain't watched the Simpsons, and I don't know how long, but you know, they do predictive programming on the Simpsons. But you got to understand, a lot of these Hollywood TV shows, movies, and stuff is financed by the CIA, defense intelligence agencies. The government fund these movies as propaganda. Look at the movie Wag the Dog with Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro, where they play, well, Dustin Hoffman is a Hollywood producer who gets hired by Robert De Niro in the White House to create a fake war because the president was caught in a sex scandal. This movie came out around the time of the Clinton-Monica Lewinsky situation. So you had a movie that talked about how they created a fake war to get the public's mind off the sex scandal. And, you know, it's a movie. I ain't seen the movie in years, but I always recommend people find that movie and watch it. And you can see how you can understand how these people have been working for the last 35 years, how they've been warping our minds. But yeah, they took out the Black family with a cartoon family of dysfunction. Yeah, a Black excellence family versus a family of dysfunction. But to me, Simpsons is really what America is. You know, it's a mirror to America. It's the idiocracy of America. Another good movie, Idiocracy. Guy who created, Mike Judge created Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill. Well, we're living in an idiocracy. And people don't understand, like Bill Cosby, they destroyed Bill Cosby not because he was a monster, but because he was a light. He was trying to bring light to the Black image and uplift the Black family through sophisticated programming. And that would have played a part in how the world, can you imagine how the world would see Black people today if Bill Cosby was allowed to have the same resources as a Tyler Perry? Can you imagine the quality of movies that Bill Cosby would have produced, documentaries, movies, TV shows, if he had the resources of a Tyler Perry? Now, do you over and understand why they let a Tyler Perry do what he does and not a Bill Cosby? So, you know, they took away his son and they took away his TV son. Because Malcolm-Jamal Warner was like, he was a good dude, man. Like, he had a light about him, even in his last video. Like, you listen to some of his music. Even I enjoyed him on Malcolm and Eddie, but I really was raised by the Cosby Show with him and Theo. And I also enjoy Eddie Griffin and all that. And I look forward to seeing what he got to say about his brother in the arts and in love. And you know, it's really a tragic loss for humanity. You know, because it's like he had a lot to give. He was living life. He had, raising his beautiful daughter. He was really quiet about his family. He did that Kevin Gates approach. He don't talk about the ones that he loved. You know, when they trying to ask Kevin Gates at the BET Awards about Brittany Renner and him breaking up. He said, "I don't talk about the ones that I love. I don't talk about the ones that I love." He said, "I don't." Kevin Gates is interesting. That's another story. But also, I want to talk about. When I talk about the Family Matters thing, I want to talk about his girlfriend. I remember his girlfriend. There was in Family Matters. Y'all know what I'm talking about? She was Steve Urkel's girlfriend, Michelle Thomas. Let me show Michelle Thomas. She died at the age of 30 due to cancer, December 23rd, 1998. Y'all remember her? Let me show her. You know, it's interesting, but I say that. Yeah, I'm gonna show this picture. Beautiful woman. It's crazy, man, how life works. But I want to show this picture. I'm gonna talk, and then I'm gonna close it out for the most part. I've been on here long enough. It's like these things be like these live streams be like workout sets. Okay, remember Michelle Thomas? She was Urkel. Hi, Lauren. She was Steve Urkel's girlfriend, right? She died of cancer. Remember when she died back in 1998, December the 23rd? That's crazy though. He died almost 27 years later after his girlfriend died. This was his real life girlfriend. He died almost 27 years later. 2 plus 7 is what, folks? It's 9. 2 plus 7 is 9. So yeah, it was sad when she passed away. But I had a crush on her on the Urkel show, on the Family Matters show, right? Let me read something about her. But man, folks, blood sacrifices are real. Wars are just big blood sacrifices. These things are real. Super born. Cause he's a Leo. What's she? There's a lot of hair on. Oh, this is okay. She was a Libra. So she was born September 23rd, 1968. Sunrise, sunset, December 23rd, 1998. Was an American actress. She was known for her roles as Justin Phillips on the NBC sitcom The Cosby Show, as Myra Monkhouse. She was on The Cosby Show. Oh, okay. That's the connection. Interesting. As Myra Monkhouse on the ABC CBS sitcom Family Matters, and as Callie Rogers on the CBS soap opera The Young and the Restless. Wow. Yeah. In August 97, Thomas was diagnosed with a rare cancer, an intra-abdominal desmoplastic small round cell tumor. Thomas never smoked or drank alcohol and was a vegetarian. Her mother added that they give her a sedation that was supposed to put her out for 20 minutes and she'll be asleep for 4 days. Her body couldn't take it. Thomas underwent surgery to remove a lemon-sized tumor in early 98 and subsequently was cast on The Young and Restless. She underwent surgery again in October 98 after a second cancerous growth ruptured. After being released from the hospital, Thomas flew home to Weehawken, New Jersey, to spend Thanksgiving with her family. Wow. On December 23rd, 98, at the age of 30, Thomas died as a result of desmoplastic tumor in New York City at Manhattan's Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, Thomas's longtime friend and former boyfriend, was among those at her bedside. On December 26, 1998, a Muslim funeral service was held per her request. She was buried in New Jersey. Wow. Early life. Said Michelle Doris Thomas was born in Brookline, Massachusetts. That's where General Kennedy was born in Brookline, Massachusetts. On September 23rd, 1968, to Penwa Thomas, a stage actress and musician father, Dennis D.T. Thomas. He died in 2021. A saxophonist and founding member of the band Kool and the Gang. Thomas grew up in Montclair, New Jersey, and graduated from West Essex High School in '87. Okay, this is his girl, man. He died in the 27th year of her death. 27th anniversary year of her death. He died July 23rd. She died December 23rd. Okay, that's, yeah, she died of cancer. You said Sesame Street was funded by the CIA. All this stuff is funded by the CIA, man. Like all this stuff, like the drugs, the TV shows, the movies. Like I said, Defense Intelligence Agency, CIA, predictive programming, all this stuff. Let's check out the movie Wag the Dog. But Malcolm, it would have changed the game as far as how the black image was seen. And like Malcolm said, the media has the power to make your friends your enemy and your enemy your friend. And that's why it's so important that we tell our stories by any means necessary. That's very important. And like I said, I never heard about no scandals or anything with Malcolm-Jamal Warner. He's like he was a light worker. He was all about positivity and upliftment. And I listened to some of his music. He was very talented. And my condolences to his family. Man, it's strange, like John Singleton and Malcolm-Jamal Warner went to Costa Rica. One didn't make it back alive. The other one made it back alive to only die in Los Angeles. To live and die in L.A. It's the place to be. You got to be there to know it. To live and die in L.A. But let's see. But yeah, that's crazy, man. Like my mentor, Jegna, Mr. Emerson Abel Jr. would say nobody dies a natural death in show business. Yeah, her father was Kool and the Gang. I remember that. He was one of the founding members. Yep, sure enough. So I guess I could wrap it up for night. You know what I'm saying? But the Obama thing, like my thing is watch their body language. I will tell everybody to go look at the In My Opinion podcast with Barack Obama and his brother-in-law, Craig Robinson's brother-in-law, along with his wife. Feminism has destroyed the family. And it was a byproduct of the civil rights movement. They used black people as the lab rats and guinea pigs and the blueprint for everybody's liberation. And the thing about it is, I'm glad I had the chance to talk to some of these old civil rights veterans and stuff like that. And they would always tell me it was not just about no voting. Like black people kind of weird. People say, vote. But what you getting for your vote? They wanted equal access and equal protection under the law. Civil rights movement was not about just sitting next to white people at the school or at the lunch counter. It was about we want equal access and equal protection under the law. That's what we want. That's what we want. And some of the stuff was misled, but I will encourage all of us to be students of history and really study, because Black history should not be about just celebrating positivity. We should look at the losses and defeats and learn from those as well too, and don't repeat them. And really accentuate the gains and the positivities and successes as well. You got to have a balanced, nuanced approach, but we don't have, for her faults, Marjorie Taylor Greene do things for the people. There's a lady named Marjorie Taylor Greene. She tried to pass some bills, pass awareness. Check out some of the things she's been doing in Congress. Try to get people attention about what they're doing to us. Jasmine Crockett is yet to be seen. I know how she make y'all feel. But is she really doing anything? Is she help passing legislation, bringing awareness? Is she advocating for Black American natives? Do we have anybody in the political landscape that advocates for Black American natives? You know, we had Roland Martin come down to Memphis to call out the Boule. His people, Boule Martin, I'm calling him Boule Martin. He came to Memphis to call him out, but he's right. Memphis is an economic plantation, but America is an economic plantation. And until we realize where we at and how we fit in, or we got to fit out, we got to tune out to tune in to get in where we don't fit in. We got to be committed to being creatively maladjusted in times of great deceit. You got to start doing that. So what they said, thank y'all family for tuning out, tuning in to get in when you fit in. Thank y'all for the donations online and off. We love you madly. Continue to, support the movement. Cash out the support. $R2C2H2. You can Apple Cash your support. 901-299-4355. PayPal and Zelle. Email r2c2h2@gmail.com. And Vimo at r2c2h2. So I guess that's all for tonight. Thank y'all for hanging out with your brother. Words of Great Duke Ellington. We love you madly. In the words of Brother Ron, keep on producing and pushing. We all be in it to win it. One love. Thank y'all so much. God bless. Knowledge is the currency of the universe.